Hello lovely YouTube family, welcome back to Curiosity Lounge. In today's video, we are going to talk about 6 disgusting animal habits that will make your skin crawl. Before we start, hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Animals and bugs have a lot of creepy habits. Most of them are harmless, some of them are weird, and just a few are so mind-bendingly freaky and upsetting that they make you itch just thinking about them. For example, consider that 6. The hairy frog breaks its own bones in defense. The hairy frog, sometimes known by its stage name as Trichobaticus robustus, is a small amphibian with perhaps the single most disgusting method of defending itself in the entire animal kingdom. When threatened, the hairy frog will produce a small pair of tiny bone claws that erupt from the end of its toes. These claws are normally stored inside the frog's own body, and the only way for it to actually unsheath involves physically breaking them and forcing them through its own skin. Imagine for a second breaking your own fingers and then trying to force the jagged pieces of bone through your palms. That's essentially what the hairy frog does every single time it's attacked. As of yet, no one is really sure if the frog has the ability to retract its claws after it has pushed them through its own skin. If that wasn't disgusting enough, during mating season the frog will also grow long strands of hair-like pieces of skin and arteries alongside the side of its body to help it take in more oxygen. So along with having Wolverine claws, they also have Wolverine sideburns. 5. Tasmanian devils are born scarred. Like their cartoon counterpart, Tasmanian devils are vicious, loud, and dangerous. They're also one of the few creatures on Earth that is born fighting. You see, a mommy Tasmanian devil will usually give birth to about 30 to 50 pups. However, she only has 4 teats from which the pups can feed. You don't have to be a math genius to realize that something is wrong with that equation, and you don't need to be a biologist to guess what happens next. The instant they're born, the pups will begin to fight for access to a teat. They will bite, scratch, and try to kill their own brothers and sisters 8 seconds after being born. As the Tasmanian devil is a marsupial, this all happens inside of the mother's pouch, which is said to writhe and squeal as this is happening. Very few newborn pups survive this ordeal, and it's extremely rare for more than a handful to survive. It's noted that the fighting among pups is so fierce that some will even leave their mother's pouch covered in wounds, scars, and the blood of their dead siblings. That's just hardcore. 4. The horse botfly lays its eggs in a horse's tongue. Botflies are a group of bugs that lay their eggs inside the flesh of living beings. Though Dermatobia hominis, the botfly that lays its eggs inside of a human, is the member of this family that gets the most press, its cousin, Gastrophilus intestinalis, the common horse botfly, should be the one that makes your skin crawl, even if it doesn't lay its eggs beneath your skin. The common horse botfly is so named because it lays its egg on the hair of horses, donkeys, and other equids. As the animal grooms itself, these eggs will hatch, and the larvae will either enter the animal's stomach or burrow into its tongue, gums, or mouth lining to grow. After they've matured for a few days, the larvae will then make their way to the equid's stomach, where they will then attach themselves to the lining of the animal's intestines with about 100 of their friends, and wait 9 months to be pooped out. Oh, and just in case you're wondering, yes, these things can also infect humans. However, they're unable to live inside of us and will die after a few days, after they've burrowed their way into your lips, of course. 3. Komodo dragons swallow prey whole. Though they're powerful and healthy hunters, capable of stalking prey for many miles before ending their life in a single crushing blow, Komodo dragons will throw all of that out the window the second they begin eating. Komodo dragons will go to extreme lengths to make sure that they're full, and they have been observed in the wild running headlong into trees to force the food down their gullets and break the bones of whatever it is they're currently trying to digest. The force with which Komodo dragons do this has been known to uproot small trees. If the image of a giant lizard forcing half a goat down its own throat by crushing it against a tree isn't already unsettling enough, Komodo dragons have also been known to raid recently dug graves for food. This problem is so widespread that it is common practice on Komodo Island to cover the graves of the recently deceased with large heavy rocks to dissuade the dragons from digging them back up. Locals on the island are so terrified of the creatures and their eating habits that houses on the island are built on stilts so that the creatures can't enter their homes. 2. Mosquitoes can smell your blood. In a 2004 study conducted in Japan, it was discovered that mosquitoes will instinctively target people with type O blood far more than they will target other people, along with meaning that about 45% of the people reading this have a tiny bullseye on their veins. It also means that mosquitoes can literally smell your blood. To make it worse, a mosquito will intentionally seek out the people it deems more attractive, while actively ignoring the ones it doesn't. For example, in the Japanese study mentioned above, mosquitoes ignore dozens of other people in the same room in favor of repeatedly trying to bite the same few unlucky individuals. Basically, if you have type O blood, even if you're surrounded by friends, a mosquito is going to know exactly where you are, and it's going to go out of its way to bite you regardless of how many people are in the way. 1. There's a type of bee that drinks your tears. None of that title is hyperbole. There is literally a species of bee that can gain sustenance from your tears. Though the bees will normally be happy to feed on your sweat, they can and will opt instead to drink your tears, if the opportunity presents itself. If that wasn't bad enough, as researchers in Thailand noted, when presented with the chance to feed from a person's eyes, it took dozens of failed attempts before the bee would lose interest and try to find food elsewhere. Perhaps the worst part of this is that the fact that the bees themselves are so adept at feeding this way that most of the time, the people they're feeding from don't even notice. You could actually have bees feeding from your eyes right now. That's all for you today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so that you never miss any amazing video from us.